This week, I decided to not have any guests. I wanted to do something different where it's going to bless y'all and it's going to make y'all cry. I want to talk about this documentary that is now on Netflix called Daughters. If you guys have not watched it, I want us to make Daughters the top out of Netflix has like the top 10 movies to watch in the US or whatever. I want to make this a top 10 because I don't think people understand the real raw emotions that people go through of having a parent in prison. I have a son that's in prison. So when I watched this documentary, y'all, I cried. Child, did I cry? I may cry while I'm talking to y'all, but I want to dissect this documentary. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. You're locked in with me. I love you guys so much for supporting me, for subscribing to my channel. Again, comment below, share this, let people know that is 1 out of 4 people that has a loved one incarcerated. So check this out. Okay, so there are 4 daughters that they talk about on this documentary. I'm pretty sure there's probably more, but they only featured 4, right? And I want to discuss the first little girl. Her name is Aubrey. You guys, again, this is a documentary on Netflix. It's called Daughters. It's Natalie and Angela Patton is the one that has this program. When I tell you guys, I love documentaries for one, but this one was just, it gave you the raw insight of how it truly does affect the children, the impact that it makes. And by me having a son that's in prison, I just looked at the perspective of, the mother, because I pushed him out and he's my only child, right? But when I watched this documentary, it gave me another perspective of the little girls. And I can't even imagine what it does for little boys.
Guilty, not guilty.
Things that I want to talk about. First, we're just going to talk about Aubrey. Come back to the next week's channel or the next week episode to talk. We're going to talk about the other little girl. So click the link, subscribe. All right. Please leave a comment. Let's discuss this documentary and let me know if you guys watch it. Let me know what you guys think. So also, okay. So obviously, in this documentary, her father's name is Keith. Keith has a relationship with his daughter. He was in her life since she was 5, and then Keith ends up going to prison, right? So, and some of you probably are saying, like, Keith should have known better. Yeah, we all should have known better. We all should have did better. However, maybe you didn't go to jail, but maybe you slept with somebody's husband, or maybe you stole something that you shouldn't have stolen, and maybe you did something you shouldn't have did. We all have done things. And who am I to talk about people? Because I'm not Jesus, and because I'm not Jesus, because I was nowhere near I can judge, because I had a child and I was not married to the person I had a child with. But anyway, that's whatever. So no judgment for the fathers. No judgment. And I want to give a shout out to the mamas that allowed their daughters to go see their fathers in prison, because that takes a lot for the mother to do that. Because sometimes mamas don't want to do that. Let's just be honest. Sometimes we hold our kids hostage from the daddy. That's a whole nother subject. We can talk about that later, another episode. But on this episode, I wanted to talk about the documentary Daughters. Find it on Netflix. Let's discuss it. So I created a program for young Black girls, right? And the fathers have to go through the program, like I said, 9 to 10 weeks, but it's a date with dad dance. And that's the program, Date with Dad Dance. And the daughters get dressed up. They put on these Cinderella dresses, and the fathers, they bring in suits and ties for the fathers. They don't see the fathers in the orange jumpsuit or the striped suits. They don't see their fathers in no suits. They see their fathers in a suit and tie. And when you see these men put on a suit and tie, they look like they could be doctors, lawyers, you know, they can be plumbers, they can be anything. They just look so different when they're no longer in their jumpsuit. Now they're in a suit. They just look so different, right? Okay, so back to the program. So she brings the little girls in where they get a daddy daughter dance. Y'all, y'all got to get y'all tissue. I Please do not, when y'all comment, don't say Tiffany did not warn me to get tissue. You must get tissue. You have to get tissue. Um, she, Angela, I'm talking about Angela. When I say that she is a blessing, and she's been doing this program for what, maybe 12 to 13 years. And I've never heard of a program like this at all, where the daughters go into the prisons and they get to do a daddy daughter dance with the father. That is amazing. And Bree, she put her little dress on. And when I say y'all, she has an old soul. You have to watch it. I'm just gonna give you one little thing that just made me just cry when she told it was time to leave the dance, right? She told her dad to just take a deep breath, take 3 deep breaths. She told her daddy that, and she was 5 years old at the time. That is a little girl that's wise. She's telling her dad to take 3 deep breaths as she's about to walk away. And I can't imagine what that did to Keith. You know, again, I'm a mother of a child that's incarcerated, and he is in solitary confinement, and it's been over a year. And Angela talks about the physical touch of what we all crave and yearn for. We all want a physical touch. Hell, even Marley wants a physical touch, and she's a dog. And I watching this, when she talks about the touching of just that physical touch, it just made me think about my son. Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I cried because my son has not had physical contact in over a year. I don't know what that does mentally. I would love to have a doctor on, a therapist, a psychiatrist. Like, when someone goes in solitary confinement, like, with no physical touch, and they're used to being touched by the people that go visit them, and now automatically it's gone. It's gone. But watching this made me realize the strength of the young girls. All of these little girls had strength, and they were only kids. Like, where does that strength come from? Like, when I say, y'all, when you watch this, they love their fathers. You got Bree. You have 3 other little girls. Again, I'm going to break each little girl down week by week. But right now we're talking about Aubrey. Aubrey is the one I felt that was wise beyond her age. And then you can see as they continue to film the documentary. I'm not sure how long it took them to film this, but I know it took a while because towards the end, Aubrey ends up being 8 years old, and I believe that she hasn't seen her father since the dance. So she's 5 when she sees her dad, and she gets to physically touch him. And now she's 8, and now she's growing up. And when you watch it, pay attention to how she is when she's 5, and then when she's 6, and then when she's 8. It just shifts. Her whole demeanor shifts towards her father, and then she closes her eyes at one point. She closes her eyes. I just want to know, what was she thinking in that moment? Like, she's thinking, Dad, you coming home? And then her father, Keith, ends up being moved to a further prison, where this time that there's no physical contact again. And then there's only a 10-minute call. 10 minutes? Like, what type of conversation do you have in 10 minutes? Like, the justice system, like, I get it. Guilty, not guilty,
not guilty.
crime. We got rules and regulations for the USA. I get all of that. But 10 minutes, like, you guys have to read at the end when you get done watching the documentary. Read how it's only a 10-minute phone call now. What does that do to her? Like, my son is in prison and he's in solitary confinement. And when I tell you guys, it's hard. It is so hard to get up to push. And for this little girl from 5, 6, 7, 8, I can't imagine the pain that she feels when she might gets up happy. It's just crazy how she has so much energy and she's so smart. And the way she tricks her mind about when her father's coming home, she uses the when the sun I think she's the sun around the earth or earth around something like that. And the way she says it, the way she breaks that down, how she has to trick her mind subconsciously. Y'all have to watch the documentary. You have to watch this. Daughters on Netflix. You have to. Angela Patton, I salute you. You are, man, salute you for doing this program. And the crazy part, y'all, is it should be in every prison, because when you keep watching the documentary, watch to the very end. I need y'all to stop scrolling for like a couple of hours. So I know when we watch Netflix, we have our phone next to us and maybe we may scroll through Instagram or whatever. I need y'all to actually power your phone off, put your phone on silent to watch. It's only like an hour and 45 minutes.
Put your phone
y'all
down.
Ain't doing nothing. Watch
now.
it. When I say it is heart-wrenching, raw emotion, you are on a roller coaster. You're going to need tissue. You're going to want to throw the remote at the TV. You're going to want to go walk after you get done watching this. It is a phenomenal documentary that they did. To people that made this happen, I salute them, because the world needs to know the other side of what it's like for the daughters who are little. I don't think I've ever seen a documentary where they talk about the daughters and how the daughters go into the prison, and then when they say their goodbyes. When they say their goodbyes, that's the part that we gonna sit. That is the part that really like hit me. And you'll see when you watch it how the daughters didn't want to let go of their fathers. And here I am as a mother that I haven't spoken to my son. My emotions were all over the place. And it is hard. Having a child incarcerated is difficult. And for you to get up every day to push, go to work, pay your bills, or just deal with day-to-day life, it is hard. Y'all know I say this. I'd rather have a man cheat on me 7 times. I'd rather walk in and see the man with another woman with her legs up. I'd rather deal with that type of pain than the pain that I'm doing right now. My son is in solitary confinement. It's been over a year. All we do is write. That's it. So when I think about Aubrey, I think he said he gets out in 7 to 8 years or something like that. Y'all don't mind me. This is Black Girl Vitamins, collagen that I put in my smoothies. I'm not sponsored by them. This is not a paid promotion, but I'm just telling y'all, I'm 40 and some change, and people keep asking me about my skincare. Real talk. Y'all need to order this. It's really, really, really good. I put it in my smoothies all the time. It's Black Girl Vitamins, collagen. I feel like I'm aging backwards, y'all. I'm looking like Michelle Obama now. I'm like wine, the older you get, you're getting better. But thank God for the Black Girl Vitamins. But listen, y'all, watch this documentary. I would say have a watch party, but I don't even know if you should have a watch party, because all y'all gonna be slobbing, crying. You may have to pause. You may have to walk away. When I tell you guys, I cried if I lost Marley if I physically saw Marley die myself, like if a car had hit her, that's how much I cried. I already cried for Damiani, but this, when y'all better get y'all tissue. I'm serious. Get your tissue. This episode, or not episode, I'm sorry. This documentary is a must watch. Let's make this a top 10 in the USA to watch. Y'all like it, whatever they do for Netflix is love or whatever, they put the little thumbs up. Y'all, you have to watch this. It is phenomenal. When I tell you that Natalie Rye, and Angela Patton, I salute y'all. Y'all did a phenomenal job. And wherever Aubrey is, I pray that she is going to be the next scientist. She's going to have a cure for something because she just loves science. And that's just, you have to watch it. You have to. And then even check out how Keith, when they do the circle, because it's a program, and all the fathers are in a program, and they sit around in a circle, and you can see after the dance is over, you can see how Keith changed. In the beginning of watching the documentary, all the men are talking, but towards the end, when the dance is over, I think his name was Chad, the guy that's a coach in there for the men. It was crickets. You couldn't hear nothing. Like, all the men were choked up. The Keith, when I had to rewatch it a couple times, looking at his face. I'm not a therapist, but just the way he sat in that chair, and when I think it was Chad asked that question to the men, like, how y'all feeling? Let's talk about it. Now that the dance is over, what are we thinking? How are we feeling? And like, Keith just, I think in that very moment, I think he knew that the damage he caused on his daughter. I think he felt it for the first time. This program that Angela is doing needs to be in every single prison, because I don't think people understand, the people that go to prison, I don't think they really understand the impact that it does to the people on the outside, to their family. Like my son, I don't think when he went to the hole, he is the reason why he went to the hole, because he did something. But I don't think he understands the impact that has caused me. Like, if there was cameras following me, and if he saw the nights that I cried while he's in his cell, and and he can actually watch me on the tablet, I think it would affect him more. He hears me, then I write it, he gets the letters, but I don't think when he sees it, I don't think he understands how much it impacts me, of him being solitary confinement for over a year, of me not hearing his voice. And I think that with this documentary, Angela and Natalie, they make it where they're showing you the emotion and how it does affect the inmate. The emotion that they have, it really does affect them. And then, y'all, her program is so amazing. It said in the documentary, 95% of men that join this program, the fathers that join this program, y'all listen to these numbers. 95%. Y'all see that? 95%. They don't end up going back to prison. So tell me, why isn't this program in every prison? Let me tell you why. Because it's $1 billion industry. So that's why they don't want it in every prison. But I don't know what I can do, or what we can do, to make this program to be in all prisons, because this program, it's showing that it does change them. And the men that are sitting in that circle, the fathers see for the first time the tears. They actually see the raw emotion of their child crying. Daddy, you hurt me. Remind you, the little girls are in Cinderella dresses. They're in their fairy tale dresses, and the dads are in their suit. So the dad is probably visualizing, thinking he's free in that particular moment. You'll see how many men thought they were free in that moment. And the daughters thought they were just at like a family, at a real daddy-daughter dance at school. They really felt like that's where they were at, but they were really in prison doing a daddy-daughter dance. And you can see some of the girls in the documentary had resentment for their father, and they have every right to, because you're in your mind, you're like, Dad, you didn't think about me. And the same way how I say with my son, like, Damiani, did you think about me in the midst of you going into solitary confinement? And by having this program and the way it impacts the individual and the daughters, this program needs to be in every single prison, because a 10-minute phone call Keith gets to talk to Aubrey, like, what is that about? My son is in solitary confinement. He can't get a phone call. He can't get his tablet. Like, he's been transferred to another prison. He was in another prison. So he hasn't been in solitary confinement in one prison. So he was in one solitary confinement in another prison, and he didn't want to do X, Y, and Z. So they put him back in solitary confinement, and they transferred into, he was in the medium. Now he's back in the maximum. He started off in the maximum prison, and now here he is now again back in the maximum prison. But I don't understand how they want to transform these men's mind, but they keep putting them in predicament situations where they really can't change. Solitary confinement? What does that really do? What does that do? Keith gets a 10-minute phone call? What does that really do? The impact. And Aubrey's gonna, I don't know, but she could be at an age where she's probably gonna be in I don't know how many school activities. The way this little girl, you have to watch the way this little girl is. She may not have 10 minutes to talk to her daddy. She may not, because she's so busy with school activities. Like, think about that. The time frame that he's calling, she could be somewhere doing some type of school activity, somewhere doing whatever, because she's a little girl. She's growing up, and by her being a little girl, she's going to be in so many different programs probably. Because this is going to be, look, I'm telling y'all, Aubrey going to be a next scientist, y'all. She going to have a cure for cancer for us. Watch. She is a very smart little girl. Very smart. But again, y'all, subscribe to my channel. It's Tiffany Nicole. I just want y'all to just get on Netflix and let's make it the top 10, top movie to watch. This documentary, like, you have to watch it. Like, Angela Patton, again, I salute you. I really, really do. I can't imagine the conversations that she has with the little girls. Like, think about that. After they get done doing the daddy-daughter dance, the little girls go back. They sit in a circle with Angela. Cameras are probably off. What are the conversations? I can't even imagine what Aubrey is saying or what another little girl's saying. And children are so smart now. And the things that they say, they be like, you question yourself. You be like, wait, what you just say? Wait, how old are you? Now, what you know about that? Like, all of that, like, to unpack once they leave the prisons, the little girls, then they got to unpack what they felt. You already got to unpack going into the prison, because if you ain't seen your dad over in 5 to 7 years, you got to unpack that. And then when you leave the prison, you got to unpack your emotions. Like, when they say on the documentary, they say it's a roller coaster. It is truly a roller coaster of emotions of what you feel. And when I tell you guys, even if you do not have someone that is incarcerated, you are going to feel the pain of those children. And you are actually going to look at the men. You're going to see their side. You're going to see their pain. You are going to feel every raw emotion. I promise y'all. You have to watch Daughters on Netflix. You have to. I will continue to support my mothers who have children that are incarcerated. I will continue to tell mothers that no mother walks alone. This platform is for mothers who feel like they are alone, but you're not alone. You're just not. I need you guys to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you watched it or not. Tell me when you watched it. And then I need you guys to check out the next video that I'm going to do about the second little girl. And let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about this. All right? Y'all, promise me you're going to leave a comment. Leave a comment. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Y'all, we going to talk about it? We're going to talk about it. Let's talk about how the prison system is a $1 billion industry. And 1 out of 4 people has a loved one that is incarcerated.